House Speaker Nancy Pelosi criticized the idea of holding an in-person presidential convention amid the coronavirus pandemic.
I don't think there's anyone who would say at this point that tens of thousands of people should come together for a political event, no matter how great an ego trip it is for somebody, Pelosi told reporters on Capitol Hill.
The biting comment comes as Trump has demanded a guarantee from North Carolina's Democratic governor that the Republican convention can take place in an arena at full capacity.
Realistically, no governor can offer that guarantee right now because it's still unclear what health precautions will be necessary this summer to limit the spread of coronavirus.
Joe Biden has openly acknowledged that the Democratic convention may need to be held virtually due to the pandemic.
The House will vote on a bill to reauthorize 3 expired surveillance programs this afternoon, despite uncertainty about whether Democrats have the votes to pass the bill.
Trump tweeted last night that Republicans should vote against the FISA bill, linking it to the surveillance conducted by the Obama administration that led to the resignation of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. The president repeated that sentiment in a tweet this afternoon.
House Republican leadership is now whipping members to vote against the bill, and Attorney General William Barr has urged Trump to veto the bill if it passes. On top of that, some lawmakers on the right and the left have voiced concerns about legal protections for those targeted by surveillance.
So even if House Speaker Nancy Pelosi can secure enough support for the bill to get it passed, she likely will not have enough votes to override the president's likely veto, which would send lawmakers back to the drawing board on getting the programs reauthorized.
Some Republicans are expressing openness to providing more election assistance in the next coronavirus relief bill, even as Trump continues to criticize states' efforts to expand vote by mail.
I think it's likely and it's likely necessary, Republican Senator Roy Blunt, chairman of the Senate Rules Committee, told The Wall Street Journal.
The stimulus package approved in late March included $400 million in election assistance, although that was well below what Democrats had been requesting.
House Democrats included $3.6 billion for election assistance in their most recent relief bill, but Trump has declared that bill to be dead on arrival.
In these extraordinary times, The Guardian's editorial independence has never been more important. Because no one sets our agenda, or edits our editor, we can keep delivering quality, trustworthy, fact-checked journalism each and every day. Free from commercial or political bias, we can report fearlessly on world events and challenge those in power.
Your support protects The Guardian's independence. We believe every one of us deserves equal access to accurate news and calm explanation. No matter how unpredictable the future feels, we will remain with you, delivering high-quality news so we can all make critical decisions about our lives, health and security, based on fact, not fiction. Support The Guardian from as little as $1 and it only takes a minute. Thank you. Tom McCarthy. Trump has threatened to strongly regulate or close down social media platforms that do not meet his standards for ideological balance, a day after Twitter, for the first time, slapped a warning label on a pair of Trump tweets spreading lies about mail-in voting. Republicans feel that social media platforms totally silence conservatives' voices, Trump tweeted on Wednesday morning. We will strongly regulate, or close them down, before we can ever allow this to happen. Trump in the past has made threats about media censorship that he did not then act on, and any attempt by the White House to shutter a media organization would encounter robust First Amendment challenges in the courts. In 2018, a federal judge ruled the president could not block people on Twitter, because it violates their First Amendment rights to participate in a public forum. Trump has previously praised Twitter for allowing him to take his message directly to followers, and despite his claims of being silenced, social media platforms have been a boon for Trump. His current campaign has rebuilt a targeted advertising operation on Facebook that was widely credited with helping Trump win in 2016. The U.S. coronavirus death toll is inching toward 100,000, and at least one database shows the country has already hit that grim milestone. According to NBC News numbers, more than 100,000 Americans have already died from coronavirus. However, other databases show slightly different totals because they rely on slightly different sources to calculate the country's death toll. According to widely used data compiled by Johns Hopkins University, which The Guardian has been citing, the U.S. death toll stands at 99,674.
Here's a more thorough breakdown of that figure.
White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany defended her use of vote by mail, even though she has criticized states' efforts to expand vote by mail in light of the coronavirus pandemic.
The Tampa Bay Times reported earlier today that McEnany has mailed in her ballot for the past decade, even though she has repeated Trump's baseless claims that vote by mail is more susceptible to voter fraud, which is actually very rare.
McEnany said she opposed Democrats' efforts to expand mass mail-in voting without a reason, although many public health experts would likely say fear of contracting coronavirus, which has already killed nearly 100,000 Americans, is a valid reason.
73 House members have now designated proxies to vote for them this week, even as Republicans move forward with a lawsuit against the resolution allowing proxy voting.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy has argued that the resolution flies in the face of the Constitution's idea of congressional proceedings and has asked a federal judge to block the measure.
However, the lawsuit seems unlikely to succeed, considering judges have historically been hesitant to interfere with how Congress conducts itself, and the measure already passed the House, despite Republican opposition.
Here's where the day stands so far.
The blog will have more coming up, so stay tuned.
Hypocrisy alert. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who has criticized efforts to expand vote by mail, has mailed in her ballot for the past decade, according to a new report.
The Tampa Bay Times reports.
McEnany has defended Trump's attacks on vote by mail, repeating his baseless claims that mailed-in ballots are particularly susceptible to voter fraud, which is very rare.
Last week, McEnany repeatedly dodged questions about Trump's accusation that Michigan officials had broken the law by sending absentee ballot applications to all registered voters. Illegality and legality of it, that's a question for the campaign, McEnany said.
Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney called on Trump to stop tweeting about a debunked conspiracy theory involving MSNBC host Joe Scarborough.
I do think the president should stop tweeting about Joe Scarborough, Cheney told reporters on the Capitol Hill. We're in the middle of a pandemic, he's the commander-in-chief of this nation, and it's causing great pain to the family of the young woman who died, so I would urge him to stop it.
Cheney's comment came hours after Republican Senator Mitt Romney said the president's tweets were causing harm to the widower of Lori Klausutis, who died in 2001 when she was a staffer for Scarborough. Trump has pushed baseless claims that Scarborough was involved in her death.
His heart is breaking, Romney wrote. Enough already. House
Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy repeatedly dodged questions about the controversy, and Trump has shown no sign of abandoning the debunked theory.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he has reported to Congress that Hong Kong is no longer autonomous from China, which could trigger sanctions or other punitive measures against Beijing.
The Trump administration has reportedly been considering a range of options to push back against China's new law meant to bring Hong Kong more fully under its control.
Bloomberg News reports.
The new law has sparked protests in Hong Kong, where more than 300 people have been arrested as police fire pepper spray bullets into the crowds.
Asked yesterday about potential sanctions against China, Trump said, "Your question is early, we're doing it now. We're doing something now. I think you'll find it very interesting, but I won't be talking about it today. I'll be talking about it over the next couple of days." D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced her city's stay-at-home order will expire Friday, and some shutdown restrictions will start to be lifted. The mayor said today that the district had seen 14 days of decreased community spread of coronavirus, the last metric officials said the city needed to reach before starting the reopening process. Restaurants will be allowed to serve customers at outdoor seating, with tables spread 6 feet apart, and barbershops and salons will open by appointment only. Non-essential retail stores will also be allowed to do curbside pickup, but customers cannot come inside. There are still many restrictions in place. Nail salons will remain closed, as will playgrounds and recreational centers. Bowser said face masks are still required in grocery stores and on public transit, and she encouraged residents to cover their faces whenever possible.